My name is Ayman. I'm joined by my co-host MG. We're here to talk about simplifying AI in Web3. MG, how are you today, and what topic do we have to start with?
I'm all good, Ayman. All good. How about you?
I'm good. I'm good. Let's go.
Awesome, awesome. So we're gonna start with the first topic on today's list. Microsoft will soon let you clone your voice inside Teams. So this is yet a feature that has not been released. However, Ayman, um, once I read this headline, I got a flashback, or it reminded me actually of you because you once mentioned that you were kind of archiving some special voice notes for a special person that you wanted to mimic their voice. So I'm curious to learn about your insights on this. So it's still yet to launch in early 2025 inside Teams specifically. So it is called an AI interpreter, and what it does is real live time, basically real time, so live translation of your voice when you're talking in meeting in 8 different languages. The languages are English, French, German, Italian, Japanese, Korean, Portuguese,
So,
Mandarin
so,
Chinese,
so
and Spanish.
what's the use case? I don't want to show up to the meeting. I record something
We're,
by
we're gonna
text and
talk
say,
about
take off.
we're
Let's
gonna
go with
talk
use
about
cases.
we're,
Let's
we're
go
gonna, we're gonna
go
talk
into
about
use
use
cases.
because I was struggling to find a legitimate use case for this specific one because usually meetings are scheduled beforehand with people that you know that you can communicate comfortably with. But I'm assuming that maybe you show up with a meeting with a, let's say, foreign entity with one of the representatives, let's say, and one of their guys doesn't speak your language. So now there's no awkwardness for like a translator being in the meeting. This could be a useful feature there. I
So
would I would
wait. I speak in English, but then it live translate to Ayman speaking Japanese. So it's my tone of voice, but in
yes,
another language.
yes.
Fine,
This is
that's
what
one
they
use
say.
case, which I don't buy much. The second use case.
Um, that's basically it. Honestly,
The use case in mind is, do you remember during the pandemic where there was somebody who recorded themselves all day on Zoom, and
yeah,
then he had that video attend meetings on his behalf, so he was always on mute and as if he was working and so on, but
yeah, yeah, yeah,
he was actually on the call. This is the vibe
yeah.
I'm getting from this. So if I'm
I mean,
cloning my
we're
voice,
we're one step closer to that, and ultimately, before we get any avatars of ourselves, like the one that Apple showed, Apple doesn't have voice mimicking. So maybe Apple and Teams can combine forces to have your own avatar that can speak before for you in meetings while you take a vacation on the beach. But for this specific one, Ayman, I can see the use case being um, on what Samsung showcased maybe last year or
MG,
early
the
this
use
year.
case is abusing the work from home even further. I have some
Is
of my
it?
friends still work from home, and they tell me that, I took the call from the hairdresser. Oh, I took the call away from my beach. Or I took the call. So for them,
Yeah.
it's they're spending their day, their life, and then they step out of their life to attend this call, like a call or two during the. So they're interrupted
Yeah.
based on that. So I feel there could be something also here where they can clone their voice on certain aspects of this. I don't know.
Yes, but the topic of focus is the translation. So it's not really voice mimicking in a scenario where you can't attend, rather than you are actually attending.
Question for you: when you watch TV today, when you watch the news today, and they're speaking in
Yeah,
a foreign language, and somebody dubs in suddenly and so on,
I can see that
do
use
you get
case.
offended? Do you get offended or
Not
upset
really.
that the translator is not speaking the same way that the person on TV is speaking?
Not really. However, my perspective, I'll give you my personal experience with this because I often get annoyed when I'm watching a tennis match and it ends, and there's usually a post-match interview with the person. So the guy's speaking English, and I'm from an Arab background, so the translator has to translate every word to Arabic, and I'm like, please let me listen to the full speech in English, and then you can do your summary in Arabic afterwards to these listeners. This is my personal perspective. But I get it. For people that don't understand English, I assume they shouldn't be offended when someone that doesn't replicate the tone of voice is actually translating what's being said.
Your use case was supposedly solved in the 2000s when the cable TV provider, in theory, wanted to give us different languages. So on your remote control, you're supposed to be able to choose the languages that you want the commentator and the
Yeah,
speakers to have. In theory,
yeah,
we had also other cameras to use and so on. And they've always been very horrible interfaces. At least with Android set TV boxes, the TV cable box became a little bit better, but it's still not a use case. Let's
Yeah,
move
yeah.
on.
So,
Let's move on to topic number 2.
yeah. So for topic number 2, we have some news from the Australian government that there was a trial that's being made in the government where workers were being exposed to Copilot for a span of 6 months to work with it, to deal with it in their admin tasks, and we'll see what the benefit comes out of this. After 6 months, they saw that on average, these workers are saving 1 hour a day using this Copilot tool, Copilot, basically Microsoft Copilot, for their admin tasks like note taking and minute keeping and so on. So, Ayman, you're a business owner, and if someone comes to you and says, "I have this tool that can help your workforce save 1 hour a day," what are your first thoughts on this?
I'd say it's a sales pitch. You're trying to get me to buy your software.
Is it? Is it? But trials have shown that it's legit. I mean,
I'm not questioning that AI can help us save time during the day, especially from a lot of the admin work that we unnecessarily do every day. But if somebody selling a tool tells me, "Oh, I'm going to save this amount of time every day," I'm going to say, "Let me see." I'd be very skeptical, and then I'll
yeah,
have to see. I'll have to look at the use cases. I'll have to look at how much time does my team spend on that particular use case. I have to look at the cost. Also, I'll have to look at. We already have a lot of tools and they're AI enabling. Am I getting
yeah.
an idea from that new vendor to see if I can enable the same thing with my existing vendor? This is where my head goes. But what's their main area of focus, MG? How are they saving that time?
So they didn't go much in detail about how and where they're saving time. They mentioned admin tasks, so it's not so they're not saving tasks on any services that are being provided to users. It's basically their own work, their own work day. And we have some, and they mentioned that mostly 80% of these users were satisfied, and almost 70% what did they say? They said that it improved their work quality and basically sped up their tasks. So, but is time saving the most significant benefit here when we're discussing AI tools, or is there like a deeper benefit or a long-term vision for these tools being integrated into government?
I run a company. I have dedicated teams inside the company, and I have a dedicated team that works for me personally, not client servicing.
Yeah,
I thought I was delegating enough work, but then when AI came along, and I started to use it for some of the things I do day to day, and I've noticed that I still do a lot of admin work, a lot of small tasks here and there that can easily be automated, simplified, made faster, made simpler with a tool. So I'm convinced that AI can help in day to day, especially for teams where they don't have people who are reporting to them, they don't have resources available to them. It's just them, and people are sending more and more work to their desk for them to do.
yeah,
So definitely AI can help reduce some of their workload and help save from their time. And if it's half an hour for that person to have a bit of a longer lunch break, a longer vaping break, or whatever it is, they should be fine.
I mean, what about reducing costs for the business? Because I would assume that you're associating saving time with reducing some form of cost, whether it was for compensating the employees for the work that they would have been doing elsewhere or whatever. Maybe is the cost going up? Is the cost going down? You're paying more subscriptions for these tools. What's the situation?
I don't think it's a cost reduction part. I know they're selling it as a time. So there's
Yeah,
time saving, so it's time cost saved and so on. But I feel it's more of the direction of I can do more with my existing team. So you have a team of 5 in your department, 5 people, 8 people, 10 people. Usually you have to fight for more headcount. You want to ask for more people, and it takes you 3 months, 6 months, 8 months for management to say yes to get you that person, then another
yeah,
X number of months to hire them. So with AI, you're able to do more with the existing team. So the existing team can do more. So that time saved it won't go back to the employee on the desk. Very likely to
yeah.
go back to doing more tasks.
Yeah, and they mentioned here that obviously these servants, these public servants, in the trial, they had some form of training. And what it showed is that those who got more training or more than 3 sessions of training actually performed 30% better when it came to improving their quality of work or even reducing more time. We know that training is a crucial part of of integrating these tools, especially that they're very new. First of all, that new features are coming out daily, but you have to know what to use, where to use, and when to use. I know you have some input on that.
Training government organizations on AI tools will only work if the training entity spends time to understand the use cases of that government entity. Otherwise, it's up to the employee receiving the training to try to make the match between, okay, I learned this new skill or this new tactic. How do I apply it in my day-to-day? So
Yeah.
that's a bigger ask that less people will be able to make it. So if you're training a group of 20 people, I'd say you'd have 4 or 5 who are able to make that link clearly. However, if you're training that government entity with a room of 20 people and showing them specifically how to use AI for a specific use case they use every day, evaluating applications that come in, summarizing reports, drafting emails, whatever the use case is, more and more people in those government organizations receiving the training will better adopt AI.
Yeah, 100%, Ayman. 100%. That's all the topics we have.
That's it. Great. Nice and short and sweet for today. Thank you, MG, for preparing this today. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We're live every Thursday at 11 a.m. UAE time. See you next week.